let me ask you, do you support the right of a woman who is just seconds away from birthing a healthy child to have an abortion?
I think that the question that you're asking does not realistically reflect abortion care.
In that scenario, would you support her right to abort that child?
I won't entertain theoreticals.
It's not a theoretical, ma'am. You're a medical doctor.
I am a medical doctor, and that has never happened.
Never happened in your practice, ma'am, but it happens. How about if a child is halfway out of the birth canal? Is an abortion permissible then?
Can you repeat your question?
If a child is halfway delivered out of the birth canal, is it permissible to have an abortion? Would you support the right for an abortion then?
I can't even fathom that ever.
I'm not asking you if you can fathom it. If it occurred, would you support that abortion or not? That's unrestricted abortion, right?
That's a question that I can't imagine. Just like you probably can't imagine what you would do if your daughter was raped. If it hasn't happened, it may be difficult for you.
You're not going to answer this question, but
I'm not going to answer ridiculous questions. Next question. If someone flies into the room and says, "I'm going to take that baby," would you be okay with that? It's like, am I supposed to answer these cartoonish questions? If Wile E. Coyote decided to jump off the cliff, will he survive? I don't know. What are we talking about here? But this is, again, that's Mike Johnson, Louisiana representative, who wants to ask about whether or not, if the child's head is breaching and he's about to be born, are you allowed to go start shooting at it? Well, actually, they might actually be okay with that, considering that's the way they stand on the Second Amendment here in this country. Either way it goes, that was him grilling OBGYN doctor Yashika Robinson about all these theoretical questions, because they need the narrative to go to that type of extreme for them to have any leg to stand on when it comes to this, which right now is at nothing. In connection with this, because first there's the fear tactics and there's these descriptions of things that actually don't happen from people like Mike Johnson, and then there's also politicians also from Louisiana, as they're trying to pass these very restrictive anti-choice laws that just have no idea what they're talking about. Watch this about IUDs.
No woman would be prosecuted for murder if they used an IUD, and while using that IUD, it prevented the implantation of an embryo.
Well, my bill would do away with abortifacients.
Look, that's not an abortifacient.
Okay, well, that's your opinion. I don't think that's the opinion of others.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
it doesn't eliminate contraceptives. Contraceptives keeps a woman from conceiving. That's the definition of contraceptive.
Okay. Well, is the prevention of implantation part of contraceptions?
No. Implantation and when the sperm enters the egg, that's when it takes place.
What takes place?
When life begins, that's when it takes place.
I understand, but
and anything that kills that egg afterwards is aborting it.
But now, preventing implantation doesn't kill the egg, does it? Or does it kill the embryo? Right?
We're talking about contraceptives here.
He's very confused about what they're talking about there, but what they were talking about is IUDs and whether or not it's a contraception and whether or not it actually impregnates. You get pregnant as a woman with one implanted. Now, maybe he needs to learn about what an IUD is, so I'll try. So an IUD stands for intrauterine device, basically a device inside your uterus. It's a small piece of flexible plastic shaped like a T. An IUD is a tiny device that's put into your uterus to prevent pregnancy. I'll say that again. It's a tiny device that's put into your uterus to prevent pregnancy. It's long-term, reversible, and one of the most effective birth control methods out there. Both copper IUDs and hormonal IUDs prevent pregnancy by changing the way sperm cells move so they can't get to an egg. If sperm can't make it to an egg, pregnancy can't happen. If pregnancy doesn't happen, then that means someone's not pregnant. If they're not pregnant, they can't abort a child. It's kind of straightforward how that whole thing works. I guess maybe he needs to be taught upon that, because he's saying his bill does not keep it a contraception from being outlawed. But that's exactly what it does, Francesca.
No, neither of them have any idea what they're talking about. Like, I don't know. I just know life begins at conception. No, they don't know how an IUD works. And it's hilarious. And this is why we need, we need more women in office. We need more women who, and young women who use IUDs, right? Like this wasn't our mom's form of birth control. This is definitely a millennial and Gen Z form of birth control, man. And like that is important to have represented in a legislative body. And so again, like, but what's the difference? Like if you outlaw IUDs, which is a form of contraception, are we gonna outlaw condoms? because it's involving, some kind of contraception. You're preventing the sperm from reaching their natural conclusion where God wanted them to be. You know what I mean? But that involves a woman. So I feel like that would probably be outlawed. If the condom involves a uterus, that's outlawed. But if it's just, a 15-year-old having a moment to himself, are we outlawing that? Were we outlawing a GOP senator or like a state legislator, rubbing it out in a bathroom? I'm sorry, that's disgusting, and I apologize for saying that. But on the other clip, in terms of the way that Dr. Robinson is grilled, this is someone who is like provides vital care to people, and she is trying to explain, but like, honestly, hats off to her for not engaging in his BS line of questioning about if a baby is halfway through the birth canal. Are you kidding me? We call that a cesarean if we're taking a baby out, right? And I don't think you actually can if it's halfway out the birth control, out the birth canal. But I think what I want to say is more chilling than that, and what he brings up is more chilling than that, which is he doesn't see the birth canal connected to a human being. This is not a birth canal that is, a person. This is not a person who's pushing out, who gestated this baby for 9 effing months and is pushing it out of their hoo-ha. We don't have agency, right? No. It's if the baby is okay. And so if we're following that line of thinking, what happens? The mother or the person birthing that baby, they're second class. They don't matter. If they die, if they're bleeding out, and the baby needs attention too, we're only focusing on the baby and we're not focusing on the mother's health at all. That mother can die for all the medical, for all these legislators care. That mother can die so long as that baby is born. Oh, and then once that baby is born, JR, I'm 100%. Sorry. Is it right? Is it an abortion to deny that baby health care? Is it an abortion to deny that baby housing or formula?
I think it is, but
I think it is. It's definitely abortion.
What we blame is the absent parents who are no longer there. Is what we'd be blaming.
Sure.
Because what happened to the parents? Oh, that's right. They just died.